When you take a part of Toledo and add it to a part of Cleveland and end up skimming along the way to where you need bridges and sand dunes in order to make the trek from one end to the other. And you look at Hamilton, which is really another area where redistricting is pretty bizarre. Hamilton County should be able to hold one whole district plus some more. A congressional district is 700,000 plus people. You have over that in Hamilton County. There should have been one district in Hamilton County, and then the leftovers added to the next county, to a neighboring county. That didn't happen with Hamilton County. Hamilton County got broken up into two districts. And there's not one whole district that is in Hamilton County, which is really, how the metropolitan areas kind of naturally would be drawn. And you have the idea that we do with the General Assembly, try to keep counties whole when you can. I think this is a pretty interesting way of kind of violating all of those principles of compactness and keeping communities of interest together. Unless you think that Cleveland and Toledo is a community of interest. I'm not sure either Toledo or Cleveland will use that. So, solution to the problem is voting yes on issue 2, and I'll explain to you why that's a solution to the problem. First of all, we are really a grassroots organism, grassroots kind of coalition. We pretty much have figured out that it's not going to work to try to get the legislature to do something about this, so we're going to have to kind of take it away from them. And these are the groups that are trying to do something to really get redistricting and make it something that is meaningful for voters. So when you have a choice in November instead of just having a choice in the primary. The League, like Bill said, the League, Common Cause, Ohio Citizen Action, and probably Dan Takashi from OSU's Law School, Jake Gunther from OSU's Political Science Department. That was kind of like the hardcore beginnings of all of this. And momentum just kind of grew over because of the outrage of the district maps last fall. Kind of the outrage brought a lot more groups into that coalition. And the point was to really figure out how to put drawing the districts into the hands of citizens as opposed to the legislature. There is not we kind of thought about different ways of doing it. There is not a politician in Ohio that can really be trusted with something like this. It is too personal to them. It is too politically important to them to try to get the edge. So we just need to pull this totally away from them. It's a common sense reform. We are looking for district lines so the final product has a lot more accountability. The process is going to be accountable. It's going to be transparent. It's not going to be hidden away in a hotel room, in a room called the bunker that nobody really knows about. The meetings are going to have to be held in public. That's what the amendment says. All the records are going to be public records. They're going to be open. We never got all of the public records from the last go-around. We got some of them, but we never got all of them. So under this process, all of that has to be open to the public. Balanced. If Ohio's kind of a 50-50 state, then you aren't necessarily going to get a legislature that's 50-50, but let's not draw the lines to game it so that it's guaranteed that it won't be that way. No party can dominate the state politics unless they've really earned your vote, not manipulated your vote, earned your vote. We're tired of politics as usual. The plan specifically would create an independent citizens commission. It's going to be equally balanced between the two political parties, plus also the same amount of none of the above. And a lot of Ohioans are none of the above. They don't identify necessarily with the Republican or the Democratic Party. Maybe they identify identify with the Green Party. Maybe they identify with no party at all, and they're truly independent. Maybe they are the Libertarian Party. Actually, both of those, the Green Party and the Libertarian Party, actually have endorsed this proposal. But that really kind of looks much more like Ohio, because we are kind of a third-ish Democrat, third-ish Republican, and a third-ish none of the above. So that's what we're looking at, is really kind of recognizing that. We're saying politicians, you're too self-interested, lobbyists, you're too self-interested, political insiders, you're too self-interested. You really can't be trusted to be on the commission. So citizens of Ohio who are voters are eligible to apply to be on the commission, but those groups who really are too close to the process are excluded. Open and accountable, and the final product is going to empower voters to pick their politicians rather than the politicians picking their voters, which is what we have right now. The districts are going to have to be compact, as you saw with the congressional plan. Compactness is not something they were going for. They wanted to maximize their political party's efficacy rather than having compact districts that really make sense in people's minds. So that, you know, if you live in a neighborhood, your whole neighborhood is going to be in the same district. Try to keep your counties and your cities together. Make them accountable and competitive. And that's one thing that we really don't have right now. Because we pretty much know, sitting here today, the results of most of the congressional races. I would bet a large amount of money on who my congressman is going to be as of November whatever the date is after. I think it's election day is 6th. Okay, I pretty much know, you know, what the paper of the 7th is going to say as far as who my congressman is going to be. It's a foregone conclusion, and I think that's really true for many of us. There's really not a big effective choice here in November. They're pretty much divvied out, and the districts are drawn to be safe. They're drawn not to have people have a choice in November, but often they have a choice in the primary, and you can determine, and often the more extreme candidate will win in the primary, and then they will be a shoo-in November, because there's really not a big choice in November. And that's where not every district in Ohio is going to be a competitive district. I grew up in rural Ohio. It's a Republican area. They're going to be happy with a Republican. That's fine. It's not going to be a very competitive area. But there's huge amounts of Ohio that are competitive. And we should have a choice in November about who our representatives are going to be. Not to have that essentially predetermined. And that's the situation we really have right now, is way too many of the districts have been predetermined. Okay, political balance, fairness. Overall, the political preferences of the voters of Ohio are going to be reflected in our House, in our Ohio Senate, and in our congressional delegation. Politicians aren't real happy about this. And you'll see them pouring in a lot of money to keep the entrenched system, to keep their power the way it is. But it's not something that they can be trusted with. They just are incapable of drawing districts that make sense for people. It's too hard to give up that power, to give themselves an edge. It's just human nature. It's just, you know, we got the foxes in the hen house problem. They're very self-interested in this particular issue. What you can do, talk to your friends and neighbors. You can go to the Voters First website, and there are volunteer opportunities. We always appreciate money. And most importantly, vote yes on issue 2. There's some electronic ways to get involved. Again, you can go to the website, or I think there's some literature, and a lot of those same contact points are on the literature. So, now I've had my time to speak. What do you want to know about?